Well, I was expecting to see more faces than I'm seeing right now because I was expecting people had said RSVP, so I had prepared accordingly. But it's still heartening to see that all of you have been able to, even on a weekend, you have been able to be here and be present for our event. So thank you so much to you all. So let's start with it. As most of you know about Innolabz, what we already do when it comes to So Innolabz is actually a laboratory. So there's no set standards, there's no set agenda. We are about the entire this thing is only it's a portmanteau of innovative laboratory for Generation Z. So anything that the Generation Z has to deal with when it comes to his or her own career, now be it employability, be it entrepreneurship, be it higher studies, be it exploring the world, we are here to facilitate each and everything. So, beginning with that, the first step is always education. So we touched upon that initially. So yeah, everybody knows about the 3 mantra of Innolabz. We've been saying it over and over again. So it's about developing employability, encouraging entrepreneurship, and exploration. That is the essence of innovation. Many people innovation is a word that has been thrown around so casually these days. I mean, I attend a number of events, everybody said innovative ideas, this and that innovation, this innovation. But what exactly is innovation? People don't really know. So innovation is actually an outcome of exploration. You explore more, you explore new opportunities, new avenues. That is what innovation is all about. The basicest of idea can be innovation if you've done something that nobody else has done before. That is what innovation is, and that is what we want to empower. So, we began with Part 2 career, which was focusing on employability. Now, employability is something like the biggest challenge with the students these days. There are a number of institutions, mushrooming of institutions, crazily, you can see any institution in every nook and corner of the city these days. I mean, even in Delhi NCR itself, there are around 140 institutions which are accredited, and there are others which are not even accredited, and so on. But then, what happens to the students who pass out from these colleges? Not all of them get placed. I've seen people, when I was recruiting, I've seen people who had been placed, but they did not get the appointment letter. Till 4 months, they did not get the joining only. So what happens to these individuals? That is what the Part 2 career was about. The biggest challenge with the students is that they have the knowledge, but they don't have the skills. And colleges are least bothered about teaching them that. Which is what our challenges were there for Part 2 career. That colleges are least bothered about these skills. They are like, no, it's okay. If you want to do it for free. You know, then why are you not facilitating all the education for free? You can also make it a non-profit organization, but that's something that doesn't happen. Then we switch to Part 2 idea. Now, Part 2 idea is something, not everybody is looking for a job. There are people who are passionate about entrepreneurship, who are starting up their own business. Even entrepreneurship, unfortunately, has become a very common business jargon these days, because that is also thrown around very casually. Everybody who's doing something ends up becoming an entrepreneur. But what exactly is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur can also be an entrepreneur within an organization. You pick something new to an organization which the organization can expand into, and you can become an entrepreneur inside an organization. But that involves thinking about something which nobody else has thought about, which provides a new avenue for people to venture into. So the venture comes second, entrepreneur comes first. So now, till now, for Part 2 idea, we had the entrepreneurship development program, and then we explored into the business plan competitions under Part 2 idea. But that was generally catering to the idea stage startups or the idea stage studentpreneurs, the competitions. But then when we realized that why not actually make it a serious thing? We have a number of competitions around this country Institutions are organizing, VCs are organizing, n number of B-plan competitions. Everybody has different agenda. But at the end of it, the whole purpose of it is that the respondents should have a takeaway from it, which was missing. Especially when, ever since I joined Innolabz, I've attended n number of events, but I never had a valuable takeaway from any of those events. Some were basically just networking events, like you meet the same faces over and over again, like discuss the same ideas over and over again. Some were pitching events where people would pitch, people would get some scrutiny, but there was no outcome of it whatsoever. There was no measure to actually evaluate what was the outcome. So that is why we came up with a holistic model called Power to Idea KNC, a common platform which caters to three things: knowledge, network, and capital. And that has to be in a cohort group. You have to create cohort groups. I'm an architect. If I have an idea, it could be something related to design, something related to interior, something related to architecture, even urban planning. I would not venture into something which is like totally out of my vision. Now if I attend a very generalized event, I might not have a valuable takeaway from it. But if I attend an event where I have the opportunity to meet the people from my fraternity, be it my peers, be it the experts who have an experience in the industry for 10 years or so, then once I come out of that event, I'll be satisfied that my time was utilized. I utilized my time attending such an event, not just wasted it meeting a few people who are from the startup community. I met people who I share ideas with, who I share interests with. So that is what the essence of KNC is all about. Meeting the people who share the same ideas, connecting with the experts who are from your backgrounds, and then finally pitching your ideas to those people and even to the investors who are interested in investing in that sector. Not every investor is interested in investing in any kind of domain. There are investors who are very domain specific. I just want to invest in medical field. I just want to invest in design field. I just want to invest in fintech. So there are investors like that. So our purpose with KNC is to bring together the cohorts from top to bottom so that everybody has a takeaway from it. And people get the actual validation of their idea. Now imagine if you are in a business plan competition, you are pitching your idea. Let's say my example only. I am pitching an idea something about smart homes. Now it is not really I would not say that all the people in the panel who are judging my idea, they may not even know what smart homes or what the technology is all about. They might get just fascinated, oh that's a great idea. And that could actually be a plagiarized idea, which nobody else knows about. So is the scrutiny or is the judgment that they are passing on to my idea, is it actually validated? No. But if those people are from the background, they are the people who have worked in smart homes in past 10-15 years. If they pass any comment or even if they kill my idea right there, that it is plagiarized, that is the scrutiny that we are expecting. Actually empower entrepreneurship, the serious entrepreneurship, practical approach to entrepreneurship. Then finally part to startup. Now once your idea is validated, of course, you will step into the startup community, you will step into the startup ecosystem. And the first challenge that a person has, I have an idea, but how do I incorporate into an organization, into a startup? Now I might be good with technology, but I do not have any marketing skills. I cannot manage the finances. I do not even know what are the right kind of government setup around it. What are the regulations? What is the registration procedure? I might not know anything about it. I'm just good with my idea is consolidated. But the actual framework or setting up into an organization, that is what part to startup is going to cater. So here we have 4 domains, which essentially any startup needs, regardless of their domain. First is strategic services. Of course, when it comes to strategy, the first thing is the organization strategy. How do you plan your entire
In fact, incidentally, we started in April 2017 as well. So, starting with about 25 seats, that's what we started with. So currently we manage about 4 centers, about 700 odd seats. The 1st January 2019 is going to be the landmark date for us because we go live with 3 more centers and 1 in December. So I think by about 1st of January, we plan to have about 8 live centers across Delhi, NCR and Bangalore, and about 1800, 1900 seats in total. While we were doing this, we also realized the fact that it's not going to be limited to just providing office spaces. Typically most of the co-working space, and we've been having this discussion offline right now, that we see a lot of co-working spaces today. It's like, so I spent about 11 years in real estate, and co-working today is pretty much like luxury in real estate. So we used to get those messages like luxury apartments starting for 5 lakhs in Noida. So that's how the co-working spaces are coming up today. So what typically happens is, a lot of these spaces will offer you just, let's say, a desk and a chair, and just limit the scope to that, which is fine. When you start off, that's pretty much it. We started like that as well. But as you go along, if you have to look at it as a complete business offering, then you need to create an ecosystem, and you need to be part of that ecosystem as well, right? And that's where we realized that, in fact, it just so happened that we were trying to put in this all thought together of participating with, let's say, lawyers and digital agencies, content, everything that typically a startup needs, because these are the challenges that we faced as well while we were growing. So we realized that we need to do this, and that's when Saurabh dropped in, godsend probably right now, where he said that okay, we are already putting in this ecosystem for the community, so it makes sense to kind of collaborate and take this relationship forward. So that's where we are. We're happy to be part of this initiative. This will definitely give us edge as well, where we start projecting that okay, we're not just going to offer you just the space, but also a lot of incubation is also one such word actually, wherein it's again luxury in real estate. When we talk about, I've spoken to a lot of incubators, coaches, mentors. A lot of these things, the problem is, most of these guys probably wouldn't have done anything for themselves so far, and then a lot of people. So that's where I think it's very important what she mentioned, that we mentioned right now. To have relative feedback is very important, So it's not like, so if I have to tomorrow write a book, I know the guy that I need to reach out to, right? So it's not that I'll go to Pratik and say, okay, help me write a book. I'm sure it's not going to sell there. Hey. So, yeah, I know you, so I can vouch for that. Yeah, so my point is relative feedback. So the feedback is not just important about, what she mentioned, if she's trying to do something in smart homes, I would be probably the last person who would be able to help her with technology, right? But somebody who's sitting in the right space, somebody who has relative experience, whether they approve your idea or disapprove, at least you would know it's coming from a legitimate source. So I think that's very important. That's where I think this initiative will do very well. That's what we intend to do and achieve with this collaboration as well. Of course, there's a hidden agenda that we have 1900 seats, we want to fill them up as well. Yeah, but then of course, the fact remains that while you create that infrastructure, you need to create your offering as well. The value proposition has to be more than just the space that we provide. That is something that we'll take care, and then of course as an association we take this forward to ensure that there's more value addition. Of course we would need your help in spreading word, in helping people, and I'm sure when we create this ecosystem, all of you guys coming together, taking out time, helping these startups, and I come across so many people today. And I think that's the beauty of running a co-working space. I have learned a lot. I think probably I've learned more in the last year than probably I would have learned anything in the last 10 years while I was doing real estate. That's a very different kind of a business. I made more money. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, but that remains the personal growth, what you achieve, what you get to meet, the kind of people that you get to meet, the energy that you see. I think that event that we were there at Startup Saturday, it's phenomenal. The young guys coming out of colleges, maybe still studying, having the courage to actually think about doing something of our. जब हम बच्चे थे तो हम ये सोचते थे पहले 10 साल नौकरी करेंगे फिर कुछ काम करेंगे. That's how typically it used to be. Today the way the things are changing. In fact, a lot of you guys are younger than probably I am. So point is, the ecosystem itself supports that, wherein it's no longer about the fact that we just have to work in a job before we actually start going and try and implement what we want to do. In fact, a lot of people that I know recently, have probably started something of their own, failed, picked up a job, and then trying to do something else. You know, so the ecosystem still, you know, the good thing is that the industry now no longer judges you by your failures, right? What we are trying to achieve with this collaboration, with this association, is the fact that we try and limit the number of failures possible, you know, the possibility of those failures. So that's what we try and achieve. Entrepreneurship is still a very risky
because we have failed.
Yeah.
In our journey of entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So failure is a very interesting word. So I think it's very underrated and very overrated. It's the way that you want to take it. But the fact remains, yeah, you know, the idea of such a collaboration is also the fact that, you know, all of us, you know, we all must have failed at different stages at whatever we were trying to do. But when we learn from something, it's easier to share that knowledge with somebody who's trying to do and make sure that, okay, those people don't make the same mistakes that we have taken, right? Like my first experience with my startup, I know that we got completely fucked as far as the technology was concerned. It was a technology startup, right? I'm hosting you guys, especially people working out of Coworks and WeWork. Yeah, we'll try to make sure that we offer you better service at cheaper price. Let me put it this way. Yeah, so that's what we intend to do. That's what, you know, we want to collaborate, we want to associate, we want to help people, we want to learn. You know, as I said, I've learned more in the last 1 year than I've learned in the last 19 years of working. So I think it's been a phenomenal year for us. And I think for us, 2019 is going to be super phenomenal. I think we are taking a big leap forward. And we, of course, seek support, we seek partnerships. We, of course, have a great team. So Pradeep is my partner here. I have Ritesh there, he's our cameraman usually. Yeah, he's been, in fact, he's our first employee. So he's been with me right from when we started and when we didn't know GoHive was going to become GoHive. In fact, it wasn't even named GoHive at then. Yeah. So I think, you know, and that's very important as well. You know, it's not about people that you actually seek help from, it's also the kind of people that you work with. You know, the kind of positivity people that bring in. Learnings that you actually learn from your environment. We have a very lateral hierarchical system, so we don't have a vertical system. In fact, all of us, we try and work together at the same pace, same position. I still love to use my founder and CEO to execute it, I think is an entrepreneur in themselves. So to the salute to that spirit, I think we are happy to associate and take this relationship forward. Anything else that you want to know from us, contribute?
Yes, please contribute.
Yeah. Yeah, because as I said, we definitely don't want to stop learning.
I have one question. So as this question was to you and sort of to you as well. Sort of you said that you know that we are going to be the matchmakers in business. So that is an ideal thing to be. And but as you said that a lot of co-workers have started coming and so will their offerings be. Okay. So how do you plan to stay ahead of the game?
So I tell you, and I said this exact same thing in Startup Saturday as well. There's no idea like a novel idea now, right? Unless you actually think of something like, let's say, Facebook today, right? I think if you actually meet 900 entrepreneurs, 99 entrepreneurs will be doing something similar that's already been done. No,
A lot depends on the delivery, the promise of delivery and the execution.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the essence of it, so I don't get it.
Yeah,
and you are open to experiment more, right?
Absolutely.
So Innolabz is a company about experiments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
People are experimenting about things.
For that matter, every startup has to. Otherwise, it will not evolve, right? If I knew what's the success mantra, I would have done it 10 years ago, right? It's as simple as that. You know, somebody, you know, I remember.
If you are sure about something is going to succeed, that it's the copy.
So I had a partner in real estate business. He knows him. You know, when we started that erstwhile company, he promised some money to put in. I don't want to name that person, but the fact is, he said, tell me what's the success percentage? Is it 100%? I said, if I knew it's 100%, why would I need money? It's as simple as that, right? If tomorrow somebody asks me, you're starting with, let's say, 1,200 more seats in the next 4 months, are you 100% sure? I said, if I was 100% sure, then you have the money, you might as well go and start it up. So point is, these ideas, most of these ideas will always be about execution, it will always be about evolving with time, always be about learning from your customers, always be about, you know, responding to the feedback. So I think these things are very important for any startup to take care of. And that's how we keep on evolving, keep on getting better and better and probably reach where we want to reach. Unless you have $20 million to start with, probably then you can put right things in perspective. Any other questions that we have? No? Great.
First, I would like to congratulate all
Thank
whatever
you.
initiative. Big round of applause for everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, and now it's not the Innolabz, it's MS Lab.
No, in fact, I would always love to be known by GoHive than Vishu Aluwalia for sure. Considering my name also kind of rings a lot of bells, so I think GoHive is better.
It's about
I always
marketing.
consider Innolabz also on
We should.
See, I think, and that's also very interesting. When we talk about any company's, timelines, usually, of course, the founder is above the company, and that's how the marketing typically starts. But then, at the end of the day, you have to reach a stage where the business itself is much larger than an individual. I mean, not everybody would know Steve Jobs' name, right? But everybody knows Apple. A lot of people who use Apple do not know Steve Jobs' name, right? So, and that's how it should be. If you can't achieve that, wherein you are known like, actually, you are the founder of GoHive, then it makes sense. Then you know you have achieved what you wanted to achieve. If you know कि विशु आलूवालिया हो तो अच्छा तुम GoHive भी करते हो, you have definitely failed, right?
And one more announcement I want to make with this initiative, Innolabz is going to be a completely fluid company. So we had a property in Noida which was around 5,000 square feet. But now we are going completely fluid company. We will only be working in supporting the startup community.
I think that's exactly what every business should do. I'll have my 1900 seats for it.
And we'll be very closely working with GoHive in enabling all kind of ecosystem in different verticals, different industries, different technologies, different functions. So we have many plans which we'll be coming up with. So we'll be revealing one after another. So this is the just beginning. We have many things in coming up in next few months. And thank you guys. Thanks for taking out time from your busy schedule. And we would definitely be working together in coming future. And so enjoy your Diwali and happy Diwali to everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, we were in some whiskey, beer. Okay, sorry.